9, 5:13 left in regulation. Mitchell tries to answer with a long-range jumper.
And Kelsey Mitchell combined for 10 three-pointers in the fourth quarter. Here is what Caitlin Clark had to say.
Kelsey Mitchell was huge in that fourth quarter. You and her combined for 10 threes. How important of a role did she play in closing this game out?
Kelsey was awesome. I mean, she just steps up in big moments.
Sue Bird just dropped a bomb about Caitlin Clark that's got everyone talking. She said Clark and Kelsey Mitchell are ramming it down people's throats with their game pace. That's crazy coming from a legend like Bird. But what does this mean for the Fever's future? Okay, so the Indiana Fever have been having a lot of trouble. 4 seasons with single-digit wins over a span of 7 years, and 4 different coaches are being discussed. That is quite difficult. However, Kelsey Mitchell has continued to shine like a diamond in the rough despite everything. She has been maintaining the Fever's aspirations and putting up stats. This is where things start to get tricky. The Fever must make a significant choice. They have to decide whether to risk losing Mitchell to free agency or extend a core qualifying offer to her. The Fever are attempting to choose their next move in what is akin to a game of basketball chess. What then is the purpose of this core qualifying offer? For Mitchell, it's actually rather nice. The Fever will have exclusive negotiation rights with her if they choose this course. The worst part is that it comes with a $241,000 minimum supermax wage for a year. A pleasant increase from her existing $212,000 is that. Not too terrible, huh? But there's still more. The Fever's budget actually has some wiggle room. Their $100,000 contract with Erica Wheeler is expiring, giving them some spare cash. It's like discovering cash hidden in your couch cushions, only much more thrilling. Now, you may be wondering what general manager of the Fever, Lynn Dunn, has to say about this whole thing. She's had some thinking, thou.
So just trying to force the pace, pull up 3, Mitchell knocks it down.
You have to do it with your offense. That's the way this team is built.
Mitchell connects on a deep 2.
Kelsey is a prime example of a player who has been here for 6 or 7 years without making the playoffs, and Dunn stated it's difficult to be in losing seasons. Hopefully these past 2 years have given her confidence that things are progressing in the right path. It's evident that Dunn genuinely wants Mitchell to stay. I want Kelsey to be happy, she even stated. Though it is still to be seen, I want her to believe that she can accomplish all of her objectives here. She seems to be attempting to persuade Mitchell to stay without truly pleading with him. Well done, Dunn. The issue is that it goes beyond finances and team leadership. Mitchell must be considering her legacy, her goals for the future, and her professional aspirations. Will she be the player who makes the difference for the Fever, or is she trying to find a new beginning somewhere else?
9 points in 12 minutes. The 3rd overall pick back in 2021. Here is Mitchell.
What if Mitchell chooses to remain? The Fever might center their entire game plan around her. Why not give it your all when she's already their 2nd best scorer of all time? But if she goes, Indiana will have to start over from scratch. It would be difficult for them to locate a new star around which to construct. Not to be overlooked are the supporters. They've endured a great deal after so many disappointing seasons. Retaining Mitchell might indicate that things are improving. Better times are on the horizon, as if to reassure the supporters. Now, let's discuss the game changer that has everyone talking. Let me introduce you to Caitlin Clark, the rising star who is shattering records left and right. Not only is this young lady talented, but she is also redefining what it means to be a WNBA rookie. Know who's impressed though? Nobody other but the renowned Sue Bird herself. You can be sure that everyone pays attention to Sue Bird when she speaks. She has been gushing about how much of an impact Clark has on the game, particularly in terms of pace. Bird stated how pace of play trumps physicality. It's really hard.
I think it's safe to say that Caitlin Clark really benefited from the Olympic break. She put up 29 points, helped the Fever fend off the Mercury.
It can have your head spinning. From one of the best to have ever done it, that is really high praise indeed. The trouble is, though, that speed is not the only factor. Clark has a remarkable ability to advance the ball up the floor and make those cutting passes. She appears to be playing chess when everyone else is engaged in checkers, and Clark's style gets even more lethal as the season progresses and teams begin to experience that tiredness. You may be asking yourself, but wait, the WNBA isn't exactly recognized for its physical play. What is Clark doing about that? Well, Bird says Clark is adjusting like a pro. She continued, she's definitely getting used to it, which is trouble for everybody else. Imagine a rookie in the league prospering despite the physicality of the game. Let's discuss possible collaborations between Mitchell and Clark. Imagine this, the combination of Clark, the young sensation with a deadly instinct, and Mitchell, the seasoned scorer, makes assists seem good. It's similar to jelly and peanut butter, but with basketball. From wherever on the court, Mitchell possesses the ability to construct her own shot and score. Now incorporate Clark's passing prowess and vision into the mix. Mitchell is suddenly drawing even more attention, and the defense is straining to stay up. For Fever supporters, it's a dream come true, but a nightmare for the opposition. Not to be overlooked is Clark's personal scoring prowess. In college, this lady has been smashing records left and right. She is now demonstrating her weaponry to professionals. Imagine attempting to protect Mitchell as well as Clark. On whom do you concentrate? You're in trouble either way, so choose your poison wisely. But offense isn't the only factor. There's something contagious about Clark's energy. She picks up the pace, makes opportunities appear out of thin air, and keeps the opposition guessing. When you combine it with Mitchell's leadership and experience, you have a backcourt that can compete with any in the league. This is where things start to become pretty intriguing. There's more to Clark's arrival than just raising the group's efficiency. It's about transforming the Fever's entire culture. They have been trapped in this rebuilding cycle for years. However, there's an air of anticipation around Clark, as if something significant is about to occur. Furthermore, what do you know? That thrill could be the secret to retaining Mitchell. Consider this. After all these difficult seasons, if you were Mitchell, wouldn't you want to stay and see what this fresh, vibrant team could accomplish? It feels like you're getting in early on something really big. But for a moment, let's be honest, there are difficulties when assembling a squad around two guards who can score a lot of points. Making sure there's enough ball for everyone is essential, as is having the ideal supporting cast to enhance their abilities. It's a fine line to walk, but if the Fever can do it, look out. Now, let us discuss the Indiana Fever's future. Imagine Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell leading the charge together. I mean, it's like a hoops fantasy come true. A pair of prolific guards who can both fire up the scoreboard and make opponents look foolish. It's not all about the points though. It all comes down to the fervor, thrill, and possibility of saving this franchise. Imagine Mitchell's explosive first step and lethal three-point shooting combined with Clark's extraordinary court vision and ability to create plays out of nothing. It's similar to having two conductors for an orchestra, each adding a special flair to the court to produce something amazing. The problem is that it's not as simple as it may seem to design a squad around two guards who can score a lot of points. You must ensure that there is an adequate amount of balls for everyone. It is like attempting to split a pizza with your closest buddy when you are both extremely hungry. Although it is excellent, there's a chance that someone will feel a little let down. Not to be overlooked is defense. You need to make sure you have some defensive specialists to balance things out when you have two offensive powerhouses like Mitchell and Clark. It's comparable like owning two race cars and neglecting to make a brake upgrade. To win the race, you must have both. Correct. What effect, therefore, will Mitchell's choice to enter free agency have on the Fever's future plan? Yes, it's enormous. The Fever can center their entire strategy around this powerful pair if Mitchell stays. Instead, they can concentrate on locating complementary players, like as big men who can clean up the glass, defenders who can cover for Mitchell and Clark, and shooters who can spread the floor. What happens if Mitchell departs? That's a very different situation. The Fever would need to start over from scratch. They would have to switch up their playing altogether or find another star to partner with Clark. It's like trying to make a cake and discovering you're out of eggs in the middle. You can either come up with an alternative or begin using a fresh recipe. Let's now discuss the playoffs. The Fever's prospects of making the postseason explode if they can hold on to Mitchell and continue to develop Clark. We are discussing two players that has the ability to dominate games, produce their own opportunities, and elevate their teammates. Similar to when you find a cheat code in a video game, everything becomes a little bit simpler all of a sudden. However, skill is not the only factor. It all comes down to chemistry and striking the right balance. The Fever would need to assemble a strong supporting cast around Mitchell and Clark. Players that can set screens, grab rebounds, and play tough defense are what they would need. It resembles assembling a puzzle. Even if Mitchell and Clark are the main characters, the image cannot be completed without the other element, not to mention the effect on the remaining teams in the league. Watching a Fever team that included both Mitchell and Clark would be a must. The backcourt tandem would need other teams to devise a unique strategy for them. It's similar to how everything changes when a new superhero team-up film hits theaters and becomes the buzz of the town. The crucial query is this though, will the Fever succeed? Can they make Clark into the superstar we all know she can be, persuade Mitchell to stay, and assemble a successful team around them? It won't be simple at all. There are several brilliant front offices and talented teams in the WNBA. The Fever would have to be resourceful, tactical, and perhaps even a little bit fortunate. Consider it, there may be a new WNBA powerhouse on the horizon if everything goes as planned. The Fever might suddenly become a playoff contender from a perennial lottery team. It's like to witnessing a caterpillar completely change into a butterfly.